In the next slide, we'll discuss these stages, you know, in a chronological order. Right now, we are doing them in a reverse chronological order. Now in fact, we are looking at the process flow. Okay. So now we'll be looking at the audit stages line by line, step by step. Okay. Now, literally, guys, this is exactly how your audit looks like in real life. Okay. And this is exactly how your audit looks like in, uh, how your, sorry about that. This is exactly how your syllabus also looks like. Your syllabus, so this presentation aligns with your syllabus design. Okay. So, so that when you're doing your studies, you know, you're able to link everything properly with this presentation. This presentation and the process flow and everything, the wordings align with your syllabus design, course outline. So let's have a look at the preliminary. So first stage is your preliminary engagement activities. Okay. The second stage is planning and risk assessment. The third stage is fieldwork testing, procedure performance stage. And the fourth stage is completion and reporting stage. So, preliminary engagement activities. So, what are these? These look very complex and very difficult to understand. No, very simple. It's just a terminology um, uh, that might confuse you. Okay, but that's don't get carried away with the terminology. It's very easy. So these include client acceptance, continuance decisions for new or continuing engagements, respectively, also agreeing on preconditions of audit. So remember, there are three keywords here: client acceptance or client continuance decisions. And thirdly, preconditions of audit. So it's like you're say before accepting a new client or before continuing with an existing client, there are a few checks that you need to perform. Okay, you're not performing the procedures, you're not determining the risk. Right now you're simply deciding whether I should go on board with this new client or should continue with the existing one. Okay, so that's all about decision making in line with the preconditions of audit. Okay. Yeah. So what we're going to do is, sir, what's client continuance decisions? Is there anything else that we need to know about preliminary engagement activities? Yes. So let me show you over here. So examples of client continuance and acceptance decisions. Say you come across a new client, okay? You have not audited the client before. It's an sector company, which is highly and the board of directors, the board is highly dominated by politically influenced personnels. Okay, so you've got uh, political officers and representation in the board of directors, right? So that's going to be one of the factors in your acceptance decisions. Like, let's give me an example. uh, what's the issue over here? So the risk in a company where there is high political representation, the risk will be high because of client integrity. There might be client due diligence. There might be severe intimidation. The auditors might not be able to work independently, properly, with free of mind. They'll always be stressed, frustrated. So we have got political parties. We've got ministers involved. If we don't go as per their wishes, as per their desires, we might get in trouble. So the risk in this case is high. A potential audit fee, if you feel like the client is not offering you a fee that's good enough for the level of time and efforts that you'll invest, then I think it's not worth accepting this engagement. So your audit fee should be commensurate with the level of effort required. Again, goes for audit firm's competence. What if I've been given the tender for an energy sector public listed client. It's a huge client, and the audit fee is also very attractive, very handsome. But I've the audit firm previously has absolutely no reputation in auditing energy sectors, then do you feel it's worth taking the risk? You're putting everything on stake. Your reputation, your time, your energy. You're probably just not good enough. And there's no shame, no harm in accepting that the audit firm lacks technical resources, the skills, the experience, and everything. And same goes for so these are few examples of acceptance and continuance decisions, and that's what you do at this stage, preliminary engagement activities. Now, again, this may not be examined at audit and assurance AA level. This will definitely be examined in your AAA exam. Okay, but well, just giving you a brief background so that it doesn't feel like very new or very new when you come across when you go to AAA, okay? Or just for your just to open up your minds. Preconditions of audit. Again, preconditions of audit include that you need to confirm with the management that Mr. Management. Now, again, my friends, you don't have to cram this, you don't have to memorize this. All you need to do is understand this with logic. The main problem that students do in this exam is try to memorize everything just because they think, oh, it's a theory heavy subject. We're going to memorize everything and we'll do well in the exam. No, that's not how it works. What you need to do is you need to understand what the sentence is saying. You need to understand the logic, the rationale, the background behind it. So the management accepts the responsibility for preparing the financial statements in line with the applicable financial reporting framework. So this is what you have to agree with the management, that Mr. Management, you need to accept your responsibility for preparing the financials in accordance with the applicable financial, which is your IFRS, the accounting standards. Obviously, statements are prepared in line with some framework, with some standard, and that framework is called your IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. For internal controls to enable the preparation of financial statements which are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud. Okay, now the second uh, most responsibility of the auditor is of the management is to prepare. You guys remember I just informed you about the test of controls. You guys remember in the previous slide we heard the word test of controls. So controls means the systems, the dynamics, the processes at a client. Obviously, a company cannot function without a process. The company cannot operate without a system in its place, without a system, right? So these are all the systems, the processes that we are talking about, because this is a company, um, it's not a friends gathering, okay? Where you can do whatever you like without any decorum. So there is always a decorum in a company. So that's exactly what we are talking about here. But it's the responsibility of whom? It's the responsibility of the management to ensure those systems, those controls, those mechanisms, those processes are rightly designed and implemented. Auditor will only be testing those to provide so that's the second responsibility. And the third responsibility is very simple, that management should agree that auditor has the right to access everything, every information the auditor considers necessary, considers important, he can access it. Okay. So far, you guys are happy? Any confusion with preconditions of this first stage? Preliminary stage and the previous slides. If you guys have any confusion, please ask. If you're happy, kindly mention in the chat box, happy to proceed.